Let's play ball. I think there's enough news for this week. Not sure how interesting it is. There's a couple things on here that's kind of funny. Villager was told to sign out of compliance after complaining about dogs doing their business on their lawn. You guys, well, get this thing to focus. Come on. What is the deal? Yeah. See that little statue of a dog and it says no on it? You've probably seen them before. There's a lot of them around. That's out of compliance. You can't do that. No signage are allowed or ornaments in your front yard. So if she's going to complain about dogs pooping, which I understand, the little dog sign is a nice way to say no, but at the same time it's out of compliance. PWAC budget expenditures come to $900,000 lower than originally anticipated. Village of Hemingway couple's son arrested after golf cart spotted on County Road 466. Let's see what's going on there. Looking at the picture, I don't know, can't tell. 36-year-old son of a Village of Hemingway couple was arrested after he was spotted driving their golf cart on County Road 466. That's a no-no. Sumter County Sheriff's Office was contacted at 4:50 a.m. Saturday after someone saw the golf cart traveling without lights. At 10 minutes to 5 in the morning, you ain't got any lights? Alcohol involved here? Deputy found the golf cart near Southern Trace Plaza and identified the driver as Seth Clayton Minock of Jebber Loop. He said he was lost and it appeared he had been drinking. He failed field sobriety exercises and opened a 750 milliliter bottle of Barefoot Pink Moscato wine. Was in plain sight on the back of the golf cart, according to the arrest reports. The Ohio native's parents arrived on the scene and his mother said her son had gotten into a box of wine. She woke up at 2 a.m. and she realized her son and the golf cart was gone. Well, if I was your mother or if I was your father's son, I'd be saying bye-bye. Not only are you drinking and driving on the highway with no headlights, with total disregard to everybody else, you're stealing from your parents. Leesburg boosts payment to Village's utility company for work near Turnpike. Let's move on from that. That's politics. I ain't reading it. Okay, let me see. Another one. Never mind. Landowner hopes to build a large-scale apartment complex north of the Villages. Sumter County Commissioners took the first step in clearing the way for a 282-unit apartment complex to be built just north of the Villages. Last month, a local study found that 3,000 new housing units are needed support migration to Sumter County, and half the demand could be met by multi-family housing. I'm not a fan of it. I have never lived anywhere where there was large apartment complexes that there wasn't trouble at every apartment complex. Not to say everybody in there, I'm not saying that. But when you get that many people crammed together in a small area, it just seems like those kinds of things happen. You just have trouble all the time. And being as we're a retirement community, I'm not a fan of having anything like that anywhere around, near, or close to the retirement community. Not just this one, any retirement community. That's just my opinion. Lady Lake man claims $500,000 Florida lottery prize after purchasing ticket at local gas station. All right. Do I know you? Do you know me? Of course not. Multimodal path, that's a golf cart trail, along Stillwater Trail. That's up by Mallory Country Club, and it's a side street that'll take you over to Lake Sumter Landings, either by car or golf cart for that matter. resurfacing this time of year. Governor Scott declares state of emergency due to impacts of red tide. Yeah, that's a problem down there. I don't know what's really causing it, but it's a problem. Villager who put up a fence after dog attack found to be in violation of deed compliance. Yeah, you can't put up a fence. Either it's already got to be there when you bought the house new, or Architectural Review Committee, has to approve it. You just can't willy-nilly throw up a fence. I understand their problem, but you still got to get approval. You just can't willy-nilly do it. Her dog was attacked by 2 other dogs. And a poor dog, she's got stitches all down its neck. I'm going to show you the picture, it's kind of gross. Stitches all down its neck where they ripped it apart. And the dog looks like an elderly dog anyway, so it didn't have a chance. And so this person was just trying to protect her dog. But I don't know what you do, you know. Villager ticketed in head-on collision that closes Morris Boulevard Bridge. CDD 10 supervisor issues warning about golf cart traffic on Moyer Loop. Moyer Loop's over here by Pine Hills, Pine Ridge. There's no stop sign there, and that's what the complaint is. There's no stop sign, and a lot of the golf carts, they just come around the corner right there, and there's no stop sign really for cars, and it could be a problem, but so far it hasn't been, but it could be a problem in the future. Villager claims neighbor out to get her by reporting her to community standards. Nobody can get anybody. You have specific rules in your deed restrictions that says what you can and can't do legally. Anything beyond that, you need to get ARC approval. Inside your house, you can pretty well do what you want. I don't need ARC approval. It's only what you see outside. And in most cases in your backyard, you don't really need much for that because they can't see it from the street. So no neighbor can report you to get you in trouble unless you've done something that's against deed restrictions. So just follow the rules, follow the deed restrictions, and you ain't got nothing to worry about. So blaming your neighbor is really childish. Wildwood considers purchase of school site to house growing staff. Yeah, apartments, housing for all the people that work near, in, and around the villages. Housing is becoming an issue. They'll keep up with it, but they're kind of an issue. The more of us that buy houses here, us being retired people in the villages, the more people they need for landscaping and mowing the yards, because hardly nobody mows their own grass, and the street departments and the water departments and all the things you can imagine that goes into it. These people have to have a place to live. They can't live inside the villages. So they're building apartments, they're building multi-family units around the villages. So I understand it. I don't have to like it, but I understand it. They're going to build, they're working on getting it approved down there, where they announced, I think it was last week, and I forget how many acres it was or how many square footage, but it's going to be somewhere south of Finney down there. I don't know how far south. I don't know exactly where the area is. Maybe kind of over 301 in Wildwood area from Finney, north of Finney to Wildwood area. They're going to build a huge industrial complex, industrial park, and I think this is part of the village's expansion. And over the next 10 years, that's supposed to employ, they're estimating 20,000 employees in that industrial park, whatever that industrial park entails. And those people are going to need housing. So, you know, they're working on a 10-year plan here, and so it's out there a ways, but still, it's the future coming. Woman transported to Villages Hospital after crash near Laurel Manor. Officials review updated site plans for gun range on U.S. Highway 27 and 441. Popular Villages Starbucks closes for renovation. Decorative alligator statues stolen from medical office in the Villages. Detectives need your help from public in search for ladies on liquor run in the Villages. People come into Villages, man, and they steal everything. I mean, that's all you read. That's why I quit reading the news. It's either drunk drivers or somebody stealing something. You know, when I lived in Indiana, and I lived in a lot of cities there, I never read this much stuff every day. And I read the newspapers and stuff there too. But here it just seems like driving without license, suspended license, drunk driving, and shoplifting is an everyday occurrence. Villagers tie the knot under oaks at Finney Recreation Center. Marion County Sheriff's Deputy seriously injured after head-on collision. Sumter Sheriff's dive team searching pond for missing Bushnell man. Police called after a couple gets into jealousy-fueled fight at Gators Dockside. I believe Gators Dockside's up at Spanish Springs. There's 3 Gators here, and I get them mixed up really. I think the one in Spanish Springs and the one in Brownwood is called Gators Dockside, I don't know. And then there's one in Lake Sumter called Gator something. And one is different than the other 2. So I'm not sure which one's which, I forget. I got enough subscribers and half of them I think live here, so comments down below, somebody will tell you which one's which. Owner issued written warning after dog found running loose in Oak Meadows. Villager besieged by mole crickets. Yes, and there is such a thing as a mole cricket. Brings her yard back into compliance. Yeah, if you got mole crickets in your yard, it actually kills the grass in big areas, and it just spreads. And you know, you got to keep your grass in good shape, mowed, edged, green, so you have to water it to keep it green during the dry seasons and things like that. It's part of it. Bookkeeper at local company charged with embezzling more than $93,000. Person of interest sought in theft of golf clubs from golf cart at Village's pool. Trio busted with methamphetamine at known drug house in Lady Lake. Well, if it's a known drug house, then why is he just going in there and just shutting it down? I don't get it. Sumter County blames holes in Villages neighborhoods on failed stormwater pipes. 81-year-old villager arrested in alleged payoff to beat up his ex-girlfriend. Remember I read the one here a couple weeks ago where the lady went outside because she heard somebody out there messing with her house, and she got into a tussle with the guy. He punched her or something, and it tore off he had a face mask on, like a hood, and it came off. She recognized the guy. She called the police. The police arrested the guy. He was spray painting or something on her house. This is the same guy. He gets out, and now he's trying to work out a deal with somebody. I read this in a paper somewhere. He was trying to work out a deal with somebody, have that guy go to that girl's house and beat her up. He got arrested for that. Oh, some of these nutballs that live here, I swear. Leesburg Commission fights relocation of Confederate statue. It's not what you think. They're taking a statue down somewhere else, like in Atlanta. Why they're doing this, I have no idea. I wouldn't kowtow to all these whiner babies. I just wouldn't do it. But they're taking a statue down like in Atlanta, and they're wanting to put it somewhere, and so they're wanting to transport it down to Leesburg, and so they can set it up down here somewhere for some reason. Leesburg is saying no, because that statue, whoever it represents, some general I think or something, they say that person has nothing to do with the history of Leesburg, and so they're saying no to the statue for that reason. Water Oaks in golf cart arrested. A Water Oaker in golf cart arrested on DUI charge after straying across US 27 and 441. No, you can't cross highways in your golf cart either. I do believe there's one legal crossing for golf carts to go across 27 and 441, and I believe that was for the Stonecrest people, so they can get across there to get to the village's hospital, or at least that's the excuse they used. We all know better than that. They just wanted free access to our golf cart trails that they don't want to pay for. I think we ought to sell them a permit to put them on our golf carts. That's what I think, but that's just me. But anyway, there's a crossing up there somewhere. Not sure exactly where it is, but I'm sure there's a sign or something up there somewhere. Lady Lake woman with THC oil, I believe that's the oil they get from marijuana, arrested in Zaxby's parking lot in Wildwood. Huh. Dang it. I didn't know there was a Zaxby's in Wildwood. I've never been to a Zaxby's. I've always wanted to go there and see what it was. I wonder where. Anyway, I'll check it out. Pepper spraying woman and 7th grader nabbed after a violent altercation. A 14-year-old juvenile was arrested along with a 35-year-old woman after he allegedly approached the woman and her fiance with a makeshift weapon before being pepper sprayed by the woman. Well, then why was she arrested? She just protecting herself. You know, sometimes I feel like we're not getting the whole story here. When deputies arrived at a house on Juniper Pass course, they made contact with a teenager who said he was in a confrontation with a man when 35-year-old Amanda Jean Fratty pepper sprayed him. The juvenile, who is she pepper sprayed a 7th grader at a Bellevue Middle School, and he and the man, who is Fratty's fiance, continued to argue in the middle of the street, and things began more confrontational. The teenager told deputies that as he and the man were standing chest to chest, well, I can see what's going on there. The boy thinks he's a man. Sumter commissioners bless village's plan for industrial complex despite concerns from neighbors. This might be what I was telling you about, the industrial park. Sumter County Commissioners gave their approval Tuesday night for a massive industrial complex that will be built by the villages. The 30-year agreement allows the village's land company to build the complex on 430.8 acres south of Coleman. Coleman is where the federal prison is. It could include up to 1.75 million square feet of industrial use and 18,000 square feet of commercial office space on the property. The maximum height on the buildings would be 100 feet. The Commission first heard for the request for the Chapter 163 development agreement between the county and the village's land company 2 weeks ago. At the time, they made it clear that they were in favor of moving forward with the complex, calling it a boon for Sumter County. I got a little map here, but it's kind of hard to read, kind of hard to see really. But it looks like it's going to be down Interstate 75. It's going to be along Interstate 75, and then catty corner up from County Road 525, and the other edge of the complex would be County Road 514. And it's very close to US Highway 301, and it's right next to the CSX Railroad over there. That's all I can really tell you. How close that is to Finney and all that, it doesn't really show that here. So, we'll have to wait. Local Little Caesars restaurant shut down over roaches and sauce temperatures. Ocklawaha man jailed after woman claims loaded gun was pointed at her head. DeSantis beats developer's candidate in every Villages precinct in Sumter County. Ooh. Villages was backing another guy. I don't know the name. He was backing another guy, and apparently their guy never made it. Golf cart struck by SUV near Walmart at Sarasota Plaza in the Villages. Motorcyclist dies after collision at notorious intersection on US 301 in Wildwood. Ocala man tasered twice after violent attack leaves deputies injured. There was a day that if you attacked a deputy, when time backup got there, and maybe the dogs, they'd work you over pretty good and teach you a lesson. Sometimes I wonder if those days shouldn't come back. I know that's not politically correct, but like I've said, I'm not politically correct. Wawa. Wawa is a gas station, quick stop place that has everything from coffee to, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's got theirs. And the Wawas that I've seen down here, I've been not to a lot, like 2, maybe 3. They're very, very good. Very, very nice. Very, very clean. At least the ones around the villages are very, very clean, but they're very, very busy. Wawa continues to break ground in Lake, Sumter, and Marion counties with a new store scheduled to come to Ocala soon. It will be Ocala's first Wawa. Bridgeport at Lake Sumter, DOI suspect wants to know who reported her. Well, who makes sense somebody reported you? If you're drunk, you're drunk. It doesn't make any difference who reported you. A villager of Bridgeport at Lake Sumter, drunk driving suspect, wants to know who reported her to law enforcement. That's her right there. Patricia Lee Johnson, 68, who lives on Russell Loop, had been at the wheel of a red Mazda Miata when she was arrested April 22nd by a Sumter County Sheriff's deputy. The deputy had been responding to a complaint of a reckless driver on Buena Vista Boulevard, said to be heading toward Sumter County or Lake Sumter Landing. It was shortly after 11 a.m. and Johnson was identified by her New Jersey driver's license during a traffic stop. She was jailed on a charge of driving under the influence and remains free on $1,000 bond. Johnson and her attorney, Gail Louise Grossman, want to know the identity of the 911 caller. Well, you know, there is that thing about you have a right to face your accuser. I'm not sure that means they got to identify it so you can go harass them or anything, but I do believe in a court of law that you might have a right to face your accuser. In listening to the original 911 call, Grossman learned that the female caller originally described the irregular driver as a man. Ms. Johnson looks nothing like a man and could not be mistaken for a man, Grossman wrote in a motion filed in Sumter County Court. She claims law enforcement obtained no information from the caller other than hearsay statements. That is true. I had a specific a court case of my own years and years ago over something that was said over a telephone, and the judge threw it out. He wouldn't even hear the evidence. He said everything said on a phone is considered to be hearsay. Out the window it went. Now, I don't know how they get things today where they can actually, you know, record phone calls and use them as evidence, and I'm going back 40 years ago when that happened to me. She claims law enforcement obtained no information from the caller other than hearsay. Grossman further argues that the deputy stopped her client and forced her to perform field sobriety exercises even though he had no probable cause to stop her. Sounds like a pretty astute attorney to me. Grossman pointed out that the arrest report said that Johnson had droopy eyes and her mascara was running. She offered an explanation for her client's appearance. Miss Johnson advised the police officer that her husband had just left her the night before and she had been crying all night and all morning, and a statement consistent with her eyes being red, droopy, and her mascara running. Yeah, sounds like a pretty good attorney doing what she needs to do for her client. 18-year-old and 2 underage females nabbed after theft of items at Target. Villages couple's 44-year-old son arrested on heroin possession. Jeez, why is your 44-year-old son living here? I think this is going to be it right here. It looks like it. Family with recipe for success reportedly taking over Lopez Country Club. These are the same people that took over Americanas, I think, in Spanish Springs. They've got Johnny Rockets in Lake Sumter. I think they got some other stuff around here. I'm not really sure, but I guess they're going to take over Lopez. Car backs into path of golf cart in parking lot of pool in the Villages. Daughter arrested after refusing to obey request to leave her mother's home. Once again, why are these children living here? Go make a life for yourself. Villager's adult daughter serves jail time after battle over trash in Village of Charlotte. Do I need to say it? And I think that's it. Okay, real quick, I want to say thanks to all the meet and greets we had the last 2 weeks. Been busy down here. I want to thanks for all the conversation, all the lunches and dinners that people was nice enough to buy my wife and I. We enjoyed it. We had a great time. I hope you guys got your information that you wanted and needed. It's no problem for us. But trying to squeeze in my golf games and all that kind of stuff in between all the meet and greets was kind of tough. But we still had a good time, really enjoyed it. I understand a couple of them bought houses before they left. Good for you. And the rest of you, I just say be safe when you go home. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I'll see you again next year. So until then, you know what's going to happen. There.
Hi guys, Rich and Kathy Albert.
How you doing? Quite the thunderstorm today.
Our first long visit at the Villages. Skip and Sue were so kind to meet with us and give us some information, and looking forward to coming back. Thanks Skip, thanks Sue, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.